So today for religion, we're going to talk about the story of Elijah. So God speaks to us in many ways, and yesterday we kind of talked about it and how he talks to us, or how we communicate with each other, not only through words, but also through movements and writing and drawing. Okay, so God speaks to us in silence. Elijah was God's friend. He liked to talk with God. Elijah could not hear God in the wind, in the earthquake, or in the fire. So Elijah heard God in the gentle breeze. God speaks to us in silence, and God can speak to us in the quiet of our hearts. So here's the story of Elijah and how he hears the Lord. So Elijah was a good friend of God, our Father. He wanted to talk to God about his troubles. He stood outside a cave because he knew that God, our Father, would pass by there. Elijah waited for God. First came a loud and terrible wind that shook the mountains and broke the rocks into pieces. But Elijah could not hear the Lord in the wind. Then the earth shook. The earthquake split the rocks, pulled down the trees, and caused great floods. But Elijah could not hear the Lord in the noise of the earth. Then he saw and heard the crackling of a fire. It was hot and made him cover his face from the heat. After the fire, Elijah heard just the whisper of a gentle breeze. It was very quiet. Then Elijah listened, and he heard God, our Father, because the voice of God was in a quiet, gentle breeze. So God, our Father, wants to speak to us too. He does not speak to us the way that people do, just kind of like how we talked about yesterday. We cannot hear God with our ears. He speaks in our minds and hearts by putting good thoughts and feelings in them. So it's hard to hear God because sometimes life can be a little too noisy, and God's just a gentle wind talking to us. So it's kind of hard to hear God sometimes because of how loud everything can be. So that's why it's hard to hear God, but we can hear God through actions or how he makes us feel. So when we're having a really happy, good day, it's because God is there with us. So God is always there for us, always with us. And just because you can't hear God, and just because you can't talk to God the way that you talk to everybody else every single day, doesn't mean that he's not there, and doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. So God is always with us, and he will always love us because he created us. And it's a great thing to have God in your life, and we need to just listen very closely sometimes to him, but not all the time where we can hear him, but he's always with us, making us feel good and feel happy inside. So that's always an important message to remember, and the story of Elijah is a good way. The earthquakes and the fire and everything that's happening is super noisy, and it was really hard to hear God, but then the gentle breeze happened, just a soft sound, and he really was trying to listen to it, and he ended up hearing God. So God's always with us, but he doesn't talk to us the way that we talk to each other, and that doesn't mean he doesn't love us, and that doesn't mean that he's there. God's always with us, and he loves us so very much.